Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to another tutorial here on Addicted Fishing. We're doing a little catch and cook kokanee action because we came up to the lake today to film some other great tutorials that you guys can check out on our channel that hopefully you guys have all subscribed to. And we've got a few kokanee we're gonna do. We're actually gonna bring them home and cook them up in a couple various ways to show you guys how we like to do it. So be sure to give this video a like, be sure to subscribe like I've already said, and let's get to work. So while I'm in the field, guys, the first thing that I like to do is I like to head and gut the kokanee, but I don't like to do anything else. And the reason why is because those kokanee fillets are really delicate. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna head and then remove the guts out of these kokanee right here. I'm gonna bag them, put them back on ice, and bring them back to my kitchen. Now one thing, guys, since these kokanee are so delicate, they are real susceptible to warming up real fast. So it all processes. When you catch them, you put them in the ice. When you get done cleaning them, you put them in the ice, and you keep them always as cold as you possibly can, because these fish the meat will start to segment and get kind of warm and nasty, and you don't want that with these fish. And honestly, you want to kind of respect your catch. So back in the cooler and to the kitchen. All right guys, I made it back to my kitchen. I kept the fish on ice, kept them nice and cold. And now what I'm gonna attempt to do is pan fry a couple of them for you and then do a couple on the barbecue. Now, full disclosure, I'm a terrible cook. I've got a great wife who does some really good cooking, and so this could get interesting, but we're gonna give it a shot. So what I've got here is I've got my kokanee kind of already spread out. I've already filleted a couple of these out that I put in the foil boat for the barbecue, but I'm gonna save those for a moment. But I am gonna start with my pan frying ones. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the scales off of the fish. I'm gonna show you guys how to do that to get ready for pan frying. So if you're gonna get off your scales, there's a lot of different ways to do it. You can use various brushes or various tools to do it, but if you just take like your spray water here and just kind of work the scales off, you can see how they're just falling right off there, and you just keep it under the water to keep all those scales contained. Okay, now that I got done descaling them, I'm gonna pat them dry just to make them a little easier to work with. And then I'm gonna fillet them out. All I'm gonna do for that is I'm gonna find the backbone. I'm gonna take my knife, run it just to one side of it, work my way down the fillet, all the way to the tail, peel it off like that, flip it over, holding the belly meat up. I'm gonna find the backbone and run the knife down that one as well. And what I should end up with there is just a very thin strip of bones. I'm gonna discard for later. Now I got my fillet, I'm just gonna take my knife and run it right down the rib bones. And I'm always kind of pushing up towards the bone so I can save as much meat as possible on the fish. Always important to have a good sharp knife when you're doing that. Get rid of the extra fin, ready to go. All right, I've got my fish prepped and filleted and ready to go. Now, I've got some flour that I've added some little bit of garlic salt and a little bit of seasoning to. I've got some egg and water wash, and then I've got some breadcrumbs, but this could be panko, this could be any other, Italian breadcrumbs or anything that you'd buy at the store. This happens to be Ritz crackers, just crushed up, thrown in there with a little bit of parsley in it. Obviously, any of the seasonings that you add in any of these steps, you can obviously do it to your taste or whatever flavors you guys are looking for. I even put like sometimes lemon pepper in the flour to give it a little bit of a lemony taste too. Whatever you prefer, go for it. It's not gonna hurt you anyway. First, take the filet and I'm gonna dredge it in the flour. And all I'm gonna do is I'm just giving it a little bit of a coating, just enough for the egg wash and the breadcrumbs to stick to. A little coating there. Just gonna run it through the egg wash. You see that flour should stay on there. And then right into my breadcrumbs, or my cracker crumbs this time. Oh, I just made a mess, but you get the idea. And then lay them on a pan for a moment or two. So I added a little bit of oil to my pan here, and I'm gonna put it under about medium to medium high heat. I'm gonna let that heat up. So I got my pan nice and hot. I'm gonna do the flesh side down to start. All right guys, I've let them cook for a few moments on this side, and now I'm gonna flip them over. So I've got them nice and browned. Oh, those look perfect. We're gonna let those go for a little while longer, and I'm gonna end up cooking them a little bit longer on the skin side just because I think it ends up adding like a little bit of protection from that heat going through and not running the risk of burning them. All right, pull these suckers out. So when it's all the way done, the kokanee should be the same color all throughout. You shouldn't have like a darker color in the middle of the fillet. And as you can see, that one looks pretty good. And that one looks just perfect. Now, for the moment of truth. There we go. Perfect. Hot though, but good. Okay, we were mildly successful at making some pan-fried kokanee, which actually tasted really good. We kind of had ourselves a little lunch, but now we're gonna do a barbecue. So basically I've done the same process. I've obviously gutted, headed, filleted, but I didn't have to descale the fish that I'm gonna put on this foil boat for the barbecue, and I'll show you why here in a little bit. Basically, the skin's gonna stay stuck to the foil when I remove the fillets. So when it comes to seasoning, you can really use anything in the world. I mean, the kokanee is such a mild fish that anything you put on it is gonna taste probably pretty darn good. Italian dressing, soy sauce, some teriyaki base glaze, lemon pepper, salt, some Johnny seasoning, Montreal seasoning. Anything's really good. One of my real favorites is actually using the Parmesan artichoke jalapeno dip you get as like an appetizer. You can buy that in tubs at your local store, and actually just to put a nice layer of that just on top of it and throw it on the grill just as is. Gives the fish a nice flavor, keeps it real nice and moist. It's one of my favorites, but unfortunately, since I'm a terrible host, I don't have any of that here for you today, but keep that in mind. Maybe we'll do another tutorial on that. So, we got 4 fillets right here in my little foil boat, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do just a little variety. We'll do a little lemon on this guy, throw it down, probably put some salt and pepper on him as well. Just do a few different ones. We'll throw a little butter on this guy here. Even though this one might be real salty, because I'll put a little Johnny's on it. We'll do some teriyaki based in glaze. But you guys get the idea out there. Really, the world's your oyster. You can do just about anything you want on there. I've heard people doing like raspberry sauces and all sorts of stuff, and basically anything that you'd put on a salmon is gonna work for kokanee. All right guys, so there's just some quick, I'm throwing some stuff together here for you guys, but you know what, if you guys have a great recipe or a good idea, comment below and share with the others that are gonna be watching this YouTube video, just because, shoot, I'd always like to try new things. Maybe there's something just as crazy as that Parmesan jalapeno artichoke dip you get in the store that you throw on salmon that's really good for the rest of you guys to share. So comment below and let us know what you guys like to do. So this is my dedicated fish grill. So I've got my foil boat, medium high heat, and now I'm just gonna close it and let it go to work. All right, so they're looking like they're just about done. We're gonna just do a little check on this one here and make sure that it is cooked all the way through, and it is. So we're looking real good there. Get the lemon pepper going on, the Johnny's. So I'm gonna take them off the grill and bring them back in the house. All right guys, so we put some stuff together, we threw it on the grill, we cook it just for a few minutes here. We've got all our fillets nice and done. Let's, I'm feeling like a little lemon action here. Ooh. Let's see what we got going on this piece. Nice and done. There you go. Perfect. All right guys, so there you have it. A couple different ways to cook kokanee. Obviously, I'm not no master chef out here, but I can tell you what, you can just add a few ingredients to your kokanee. It's one of the best tasting salmon that we have in the Northwest, so it's really hard to screw up. So don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, guys. Be sure to comment your favorite way to cook a kokanee or a salmon down below. We'll be watching the comments. Thanks for tuning in.